What's up people, Kay here again, and in today's video I'm going to share with you how you can build a one-person coaching or consulting business up to about $20,000 a month. And I'm going to give you everything from starting it to what you need to do, to the activities you need to be responsible for, to things you can outsource to different systems since it's only you building a one-person coaching business, and also how far you want to take it. That's why I said up to $20,000 a month, because in my experience, I've built my own coaching business. And now I have a team. Before I built it with one person, that person being me, up to $95,000 a month. And I realized that was just way too far. So that's why I'm keeping it in that range. So stay locked in. Let's jump right into it. So why would you want to build a one-person coaching business? Well, there are some pros and there are some cons. One of the big pros is that you don't have to manage a team. You don't have to hire and fire people. You don't have to be dependent on other people. It's simply what you say goes, and you don't have to be responsible for anybody else. With that comes obviously higher profit margins. Everything that comes into the business, you get to keep. It's a very, very simple, elegant, I like that word, simple, elegant model. But with that also comes some cons. So like I said, everything's on you. You have to do every single thing in the business, and it's very hard to scale it further predictably. When I built my business past that level and I was doing it all on my own, I realized very quickly that past around 20, I think 20 is the sweet spot, but around $30,000 a month, anywhere past that, it becomes more of a headache to run it on your own. And you do really require other people in there. Even though now we have systems and automations and AI and stuff, there's still some things that you're going to want help from other people for. So let's kick off and tell you the exact activities you're going to do. It's a different kind of flow here today. I'm recording this at night. Just got a cup of Earl Grey in the hand. I usually prefer doing the videos in the day, but different train of thought at night. I might try these out. Let me know what you guys think. So starting with traffic and lead generation specifically. There's only three ways to generate leads. That is going to be outreach, content, and ads. You're going to be starting with either outreach or content. I wouldn't say ads if you're just building a one-person coaching business, especially starting out. We're starting right from zero here. So with content and outreach, I've explained before that outreach, while can technically work for coaching, I don't think it's very wise for cold outreach. For warm outreach, yes, but you'd need to still bring people in first. So that's the first thing you'll be doing to generate traffic and lead generation is going to be content marketing. Again, you're going to be doing everything yourself here. So either you or some AI or some software. Content-wise, you'll want to be consistent with your content. This is the main way you're going to bring people in as leads and into your ecosystem or funnel. This would be short-form content, long-form content, and stories on social media. And I recommend a minimum of one piece of long-form content every week. One's perfect, to be honest. You could do two if you wanted, but one YouTube video and maybe repurpose that as a podcast. That is not only going to act as a top of funnel piece of content to draw people in, it's also going to act as a middle of funnel depending on your topics, where people can get nurtured, get to know, like, and trust you, and dive deeper into your ecosystem. So you've got that content. In terms of short form content, I'd recommend at least one piece a day of short form content. That's going to expand your reach, bring more eyes on you, get more followers, get those people into your ecosystem. And then you can move those people into your middle of funnel content, into your long form content, or into any other resources that you might create. Some of those could be docs, they could be resources that you give away, they could be lead magnets, could be a Facebook or school community, an email list. Essentially, you're bringing people in. We'll get to those middle of funnel ones in a minute. So you've got your long form content, you've got your short form content, and then you've got your stories. Stories showing behind the scenes, day to day, what you're up to, and maybe some kind of story sequences. So this already, your long form content, if you're just posting it once a week, you could batch 4 of them for the month on, let's say, 1 day a week, or 1 day of the month, you could batch 4 of them. Same with your short form. You could batch the whole week, or you could even batch the whole month if you're ambitious. The whole goal we want to do with something that you're building on your own is we want to keep it very streamlined. We don't want you all over the place having to record this day and that this day and jumping all over the place. It's already quite a bit of responsibility since you're responsible for everything. So we want to keep that streamlined as much as possible. So create that long form content, short form content, batch them, and then stories. If you want to be very slick, you could batch them in advance. But I think if you've already got the content batched, there's no harm in creating a few stories. It might take you 10, 15 minutes a day. It's something more personal. And I find when you create these on the fly, it adds a different layer to your marketing as well, a different behind the scenes flair. So that could be good to do on a daily basis. So right now with the content, you've pretty much got that batched where you're doing that one day out of the week or a couple days in the month, and then your story is just day to day. So that's your traffic and lead generation and your content. Next is going to be messaging, or I should even say communication more than messaging. So when you have this content and you're giving calls to action to resources, lead magnets, to work with you, to your VSL or wherever you're moving people to, now you need to communicate with them. People aren't just going to see one piece of content or maybe a couple of videos and then go and buy. They need that buyer's journey. They may need to consume more content. They may need to watch more videos, or they may need to get more DMs from you and see some emails. We need more touch points with them. If you remember back to the 7-11-4 rule, if you haven't seen that video of mine, go ahead and watch it. But that really outlines what the buyer's journey is going to look like. So communication is a key point in the funnel. And you can be doing that. That's your next activity you'll do is, let's say you have an email list. You'll want to communicate with that regularly. That could be 1 email a week, 2 emails a week, 3 a week. Really, a lot of people will say daily. At the end of the day, it's just having a consistent cadence. I did crazy numbers before I was even emailing daily. I think at the time of that 95K month I mentioned, I was maybe emailing 2 to 3 times a week. So it's more than enough. But the key is that you are consistent with communication with your audience and you're making offers through that as well. So you're giving them value, you're giving them knowledge, pushing them back to your content, increasing that watch time and affinity, but also giving calls to action to take an action, to book a call, to go and consume your VSL content, to move forward to becoming a customer or a client. That's very important. And then you want to do that in the DMs as well. And it's so important to hit both avenues because we all hear, the money's in the list, email's amazing. Yeah, it is. But when I have a list of 1,000 people that I'm DMing in a lead CRM versus 1,000 people on an email list, the 1,000 DMs will get higher open rate, higher read rate, higher response rate, higher booking rate, higher close rate. The downside is that it obviously takes more effort from you. It's not as automatic as doing it with an email list. But that's the second activity then. So you'll have the content, and then now you will have the communication, nurturing through emails, DMs, and it's really any kind of nurturing. This could be through an Instagram broadcast channel, Telegram, WhatsApp. It really doesn't matter. You need to be nurturing that audience. Very key for you to do. As you're nurturing, the next step is to book in calls. And yes, even though you are building this up by yourself, I still recommend doing sales calls. Now, you can do either. This is coming from me as somebody who closes a hell of a lot in the DMs and by emails, not even just by sales calls. But the reason I say this is when you're building up to your first $20,000 a month, in our example, you don't really have much skin in the game. You probably haven't worked with hundreds and hundreds of clients. You probably don't have a rock solid scalable offer. You're trying to build this up. And it's much easier to close people by getting on a call with them, having a one-on-one chat with them. They lower their guard and you can genuinely see how you can help them and go back and forth rather than them just seeing a page and deciding this isn't for me, or having an objection but not voicing it, or just going halfway through it and closing the page. They can't do that when you're right there in front of them, right? Unless they're pretty rude, which most people are not going to do that and just close the Zoom chat. And especially when trying to get to $20,000 a month, if your product is $5,000 and you only need 4 people a month, then you would only need 16 calls a month at a 25% close rate, which is not bad. You can take 16 calls a month. That's 4 calls a week. If you're doing 1-hour calls, 4 hours a week, you're still well within amazing time. Now, I will be mindful of you working by yourself because there's other responsibilities we need to take care of as well. So I would say start off with the call. And most sales calls go between 45 minutes and an hour. That's kind of the buffer. They should really close within 45, and you have that extra 15 minutes if you need it. What I want you to do as you do more of these calls, I want you to really refine your process so that you get the call instead of 45 and take it to an hour if you need it. I want you to have your call set at 30 minutes and take it to 45 minutes if you need that extra buffer time. And the way you're going to do that is by creating more marketing assets. So before the call, you're going to have them see your VSL. You're going to have them see different sales assets. You're going to have them see different case studies and testimonials. You're going to have them see all different things that you can think of, maybe some of your long form content, anything which handles objections. The more you can prepare them before the call, the more they show up and they already know who you are, what you do, that they want to work with you, they're ready to invest, and then it just becomes a, hey, is this a good fit? And basically showing them the details of the offer and close the deal. It shouldn't be an education call. It shouldn't be an education call ever, but especially if you are doing this by yourself, you have to be very mindful of your time. You don't want to be spending an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. Trust me, I've seen this on calls. So now that we have these calls down to 30 minutes each, and you're taking 4 a week, that's only 2 hours a week. Your content is only taking you a couple of hours a week as well. So here you're pretty much averaging out to an hour a day. And I'll be honest, that's once you're good, right? At the beginning, you might take more time for things. So let's say that's 2 hours a day. Still bloody fantastic. We're trying to make this as time efficient as we can for you. You still have to put the time in, but we don't want to waste any here. And same, I think I missed that when I was talking about the communication. Maybe you spend an hour a day in the DMs. Again, we want to be very conscious of your time. You spend an hour a day, but what you're doing is communicating with the hottest leads. So if somebody just joined your group or just got a lead magnet, cool, connect with them later in the week. The people we really want to prioritize now are the 30, 40, 50, depending on your speed in the messenger. You want to prioritize those hottest people, the people who had a call and didn't buy, the people who booked a call but didn't show, the people who wanted to book a call but never committed, etc. And staying in that hierarchy. Those are the people you want to focus on. So you have that hour there as well. Now we're jumping back to where we said the sales call. So you'll have that. You'll have all the assets beforehand. And then on the call, you'll aim to close the deal. Over time, yes, you can switch to DMs. I know it's a very trending topic right now, but trust me, it's harder. And again, this is coming from someone who does it. It's harder to close without a call than it is with a call. So I highly encourage you to do it until you've at least closed 50 to 100 clients. Then if you want to move away from it, absolutely, you can test to your heart's content. So now we've done the sales. Then the next thing is obviously you have to fulfill for the client. So this is why we wanted to save some time. In terms of fulfilling, what I would recommend is you try and get as much streamlined and as much really, I guess, automated as you can. That's not to say you never talk to the client, no. But whatever you can get done and put into course modules, do that. Whatever you can get into worksheets, you do that. And then whatever you can eliminate taking your own time, you do that as well. So again, calls, let's say you do 45-minute calls with clients. Do they really need 45 minutes? You give them what they need, but do they need that? Can you compress that into 30-minute calls? Does it need to be once a week? Could it be every 10 days? Could it be every second week? Could it be one a month? Depending. And another good one I really like is kind of like WhatsApp or Vox or Telegram, wherever you want to do it. Just DMs, but also voice notes. Trust me, voice notes, you can help people get results so fast because they don't have to wait for you to show up on a call. They don't have to wait for the call that they booked in 3 days, or you can even do this on Loom. So with Loom consulting and voice consulting, you can pretty much do all this stuff. And just so you're not running around like a headless chicken, you might have 20 minutes at the end of each day, which trust me, most clients are not going to need this every single day. So now you've got your content, you've got your messaging, you've got your sales call process, you've got your client delivery, all handled in just a few hours a day. And it's absolutely beautiful because to make, again, I use that figure of 20 because I think that's kind of the threshold you should build to until you really should probably get somebody in. Even at 20, a VA would be great, but you can probably get by without it if you really wanted to. So even at that point, you're doing about 4 hours a day and you're making up to $20,000 a month, almost $250,000 a year, which is bloody fantastic. This is the way I want you to think about having a one-person coaching business. It can be great, but it's great for its intended purpose. A lot of people are trying to build them way too big, and I'll share some of mine. So I didn't do this on purpose. I built my coaching business with the intention of getting to $10,000 to $20,000 a month within a 12-month time frame. I ended up smashing that within 3 months and getting to 30 grand a month. And so it was just off to the races. We were just enrolling people. And so I was creating more content. I was having more DM conversations. My calendar was packed. I didn't give you these tips of having the pre-call work and closing down my sales calls. It was an absolute mess. And then on top of that, I was giving clients one 45-minute call every 10 days. So what's that, an hour and a half, 2 hours and 15 minutes per client per month. And at that point, we were going 65,000 one month, 82,000 the next, 95. It was absolute madness. And so I didn't even have time to stop and think what I needed to do and maybe hire somebody. I didn't even know what the hell to do. I was just flying by the seat of my pants and just kind of went with it. So I want to stop you from making the same mistake, because this is an absolutely elegant business model up to around that 20, verging on that 30K a month mark. But anything further than that, you definitely want a team. You don't want to be trying to handle hundreds of DMs yourself every single day, and 5, 6, 7 calls a day on your calendar, and questions from God knows who clients, and people booking out entire day. It just, then you end up hating the business. So if you want to build one of these one person coaching businesses, this is the way I recommend you do it. I hope this has been helpful. If it has, and you'd like my help installing this, just feel free to drop into the description. There's a link where you can see exactly how we can help you do that. And this is what we really recommend for our clients, is to start off here and then see, do you want to keep this one person solo coaching, solo consulting business, make an absolute, really good amount of money with an absolute killer profit margin? Or do you want to take it further? Do you want to build a boutique coaching or consulting company where you maybe have 1 or 2 or 3 key hires and pull in 50, 60, 70K a month? Or do you want to take it full blown online education business, doing 6 figures a month and actually building out a proper team? Completely up to you. We can help you in all phases of that. But this is where I like to start people off. See you in the next one, guys. Take care.